Good day, everyone. The name of our group is the Jurist, and today we will present our program for the final case study. Our case study requires us to make a point of sale of our computer shop where a program should only accept the product code of an item and its quantity to be entered by the user. The program also requires getting the amount and the grand total of all the products and whether a user wants to continue their transaction or not. Jovert, Carrido, and Simon Lorejas will discuss the flowchart. Hanna, Tuazon, and I will discuss the source code. But first, let us introduce ourselves.
I'm Jovert Carrido.
I'm Simon Lorejas.
I'm Kurt Omlang.
And I am Hanna Faye Tuazon.
Hi, I'm Jovert Carrido, and I'm here to present to you the first part of our flowchart. As you can see, the first thing we did is we declare and initialize the variables that we're going to use in our program. After declaration, it will display the menu or the first output, and it will ask the user if he or she wants to purchase an item. If the user inputs Y or yes, it will proceed to the next output, which is the purchase order, and it will ask the user again what product code he or she buying. If the user input A001 to A005 product code, the next thing the program will ask is how many he wants to buy, where the user will input the quantity of item he or she wants to buy. If the user input less than 0, it will display you cannot enter negative value, try again. After that, the program will ask the user to input the quantity again. What if the user input greater than 0, it will proceed to the process where the program will store all input from the user within the arrays of each respective variables. After that, if the user reaches the maximum of 5 orders, and regardless the quantity of each item, the program will display auto products, and it will end the purchase order and proceed to the last output. If not, it will display if he or she wants to add item. If the user input Y or yes, it will loop again or back again from inputting what product code he or she wants to buy. If no, it will end the purchase order and proceed to the last output of or the receipt of the user. And this is the end of my part. Now let me introduce to you Simon Lorejas, who will present the second part of our flowchart.
Hi, I'm Simon Lorejas. In the last output, the first step that we did is collecting all the value of I and transferring it to J. After that, it will display the order information where it includes the product code, item name, unit price and quantity, and the amount. After that, we use a loop so that it will only display the item that the user buys, and then it will display nothing follows. And the total variable will get the value of subtotal from the purchase or order in order to display the grand total that the user buy. After that, it will display new customer. If the input is Y or yes, it will go back from the start, and if N or no, it will display thank you for shopping in Jose Kuhan Computer Shop. Else, if the user input other than Y or N, it will display invalid input, thank you. Then it will end the program. And now let me introduce to you Kurt Omlang, who will present our source code.
As you can see in our source code, we use scanner as our input method here, and then we have our public class method followed by the strings and primitive data types that we have declared. We have our string code for our product codes, string item name for the item names, char choice if the user will purchase or add items by Y or N. In quantity to store the number of quantity, doubles, unit price, sub amount, total, and subtotal for the storage of our unit price, first amount, and the grand total and computed amount of sub amount. Ints I and J as our counter variable. The first loop that is included in our program will run as long as it is true, unless it is caused to stop by a break. The first while loop true, is our endless loop, and as long as it is true or break has not been declared inside of this loop, something went wrong to make it false, it will end. Hanna Tuazon will discuss the rest of our source code.
I'm Hanna Faye Tuazon, and I will explain the part of the program responsible for outputs number 2 and 3. In output number 2, there are do-while loops here for our product codes, names, and prices. So we have here our switch cases, and inside of it is our do-whiles. The program is going to ask the user to enter a product code, and if the user enters a code accepted within the switch case, the program will then proceed to do while loop. Otherwise, the program will print code does not exist, and then the program is going to ask the quantity the user wishes to input, and if the user inputs a value less than 0, the program will print you cannot enter negative value, please try again, and will be asked again to enter another quantity. If the user inputs a valid quantity, the user will be asked if they wish to add another item. If the case is Y, the purchase loop will continue. If N, it will proceed to the grand total and the program will end. Our default here is invalid input. The process is same within each case. Output 3 is our order information. The counter j equals I. In this part, all the values stored in counter I will be transferred to counter j. For example, the user wants to buy only 2 products, therefore only 2 products will be given in the order information because j only took 2 products. For I equals 0, I is less than j, I plus plus, we set the I again in 0 in order to reset the value of I in this part on output 3 because I from above already has value. And I less than j, just like we said earlier, j will get all the values stored in the array I from above. Back to the I is less than j, it will output only the value of j. And lastly is the I plus plus. It will increment every output given. Example, j has only 2 values. Therefore, each output will be incremented so that the value of I here will become 1 and so on. Then the order information or receipt will be printed showing all the information the user has inputted like product codes, item names, unit price, quantity, sub-amount, and the grand total. Finally, the user will be asked if they are a new customer or not. If Y, the program will go back to menu or first output. If N, it will print, thank you for shopping in Josie Kohan Computer Shop. And our default here is invalid input, thank you. And this is the end of our source code.